Hello, it's Debbie Gilbert here from the Business Awards Show, and I'm also the founder of the Best Business Women Awards. And today I'm delighted to be joined by Vicky Grammatikopoulou from the Essex, who has had an incredible business journey, which she's going to talk about shortly. She has two aesthetic clinics in London, one in Essex, one in Stuttgart in Germany. So her business is truly global. And alongside these clinics, she also has a company that helps other aesthetic companies with their marketing. Vicky's been in business for over 11 years now, and she has won over 30 awards. So this is a woman who knows a lot about awards, but knows an incredible amount about her industry. She is a real industry leader. So welcome, Vicky.
Thank you for having me. Hello to everyone.
Oh, it's lovely to see you. We saw each other a couple of weeks ago at the Best Business Women Awards, where you collected an award for Businesswoman of the Decade. How
Yes, sounds,
amazing.
sounds grand. Yeah, I feel old. It was an amazing event as well. So
Oh,
congratulations to you, Debbie. It was
thank you.
really uplifting and some wonderful women in that. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of very distinguished businesswomen and very nice warm atmosphere, which is something I love about your events. They are unique.
Thank you. And of course, you won double gold about two years ago now, 2021, I think it was, or 2022. You won double gold.
Yes, yes. I was a sponsor the year
That's
last
it.
year.
After
Then
that.
I
Yeah.
got two gold awards, which was amazing. I just still can't believe it. And then I also got silver awards the year before. So I've been 1 to 4 years now. Part of the journey of Best Business Women's Awards.
I know, and you know, you're only one of four women over the 10 years of the awards who've collected double gold awards.
Yeah,
There you go.
I just couldn't. I just had to
Amazing.
pinch myself on the night. I because there is a little bit of cynicism with awards and so on
Yes.
around because we have been shortlisted many times for different industry awards, and sometimes we get the prize, the gold award, sometimes not. Just being a finalist, I mean, for us is a big honor.
Mm.
So with your awards, it was. And people, you think like, yeah, is there sponsorship and so on. I knew nobody there, when I came for the awards night. I just heard about your awards. I didn't know you. I didn't know anyone on the panel.
No.
I just thought I'm going to go for it. And I just won two gold awards. And this is for me um, amazing because it shows that it's all on merit
Mm.
and
Totally.
how well everything is organized
Oh,
also on your awards. I really love about Best Business Awards, which is the only awards I've seen really doing it so well. When
oh.
people win awards and they go up, you give a little bit of a snippet, like a vignette about why this person has won
Mm.
the awards, what's special about their business,
Mm.
what's special about their contribution, their journey. And this is so respectful for the people who
Mm.
put in all their, sometimes you just pour your soul into it. It's quite a
Mm.
soul-searching activity going for
Yeah.
awards, and you need to work on your confidence and so on. So it's very, very rewarding. And it's also being in the audience very inspiring to see what people have done. I mean, I go away from your evenings feeling like full of ideas of things I want to do more,
Yeah.
and mainly about giving back. And this is very, very touching, very, very fulfilling to see how many business women in that group are doing so much more and beyond
Yeah.
in order
Yeah.
to share and give back. That's
That's it. And we have made that a criteria of our awards now. It's been part of the entry for about 2 or 3 years where we've said there is a question around what you're giving back, because every business owner, in my opinion, has a duty to do something, whether it's industry, whether it's community, or a mix of both. And
yeah.
you're very passionate about that. I mean, you do a lot to support others in your industry and your community. So let's go back to the beginning. We like to go back to the beginning, mainly because I'm really nosy, Vicky, and I
Okay.
love to know what makes somebody start a business in a particular industry. So tell us your story. How have you ended up heading up this amazing aesthetics business?
Well, my story in enterprise and entrepreneurship started when I was 25. I finished uni. I trained as a teacher and language specialist, and started working in different establishments and schools. And by the age of 25, I just felt I wanted to do something really, really special. So I founded a private language school that was in Greece. I've been always very passionate about women and education and workplace and empowerment. So what I did is I opened the school and I tapped into funding with grants from the European Commission then. It wasn't the union yet. And created 11 workspaces for women teachers and
Wow.
opened it really prospered. The language school was catering to an audience of children preschool to students at the university. It was about German and English, and preparing and also supporting people who were doing studying in literature and so on. So it was quite varied, preparing them for different exams. We ended up being always top of all our students used to be top achievers with the Goethe Institute. I worked with the university there, training teachers, offering training places for language teachers as well, language trainees as well. And it was really very, very positive story and part of my life. But then for personal reasons, I decided to come to England. And for the family, because my husband wanted to do more studies here as well. He's a doctor, and I decided to join him. We had a little one, and I didn't want her to be away from daddy, even if it was for 1 or 2 years. So we came here, and I basically sold on the company there. And it's I feel really good because many, many years later, it's still there.
Oh, wow.
Still
That's
the logo
incredible.
I designed and all the materials I gave them, and they have been this gentleman who bought the business. He just followed exactly all the structures that I had created. And when I go back to Thessaloniki in Greece, it's still there. It's in central Thessaloniki, still prospering. So it makes me feel great because it was my first baby before
Yes.
I even had my other baby.
And your legacy still exists, which is fantastic.
Yes, and also all my employees, were taken on, and part of my selling the business was that they get a 10% pay rise from the moment go. So I made sure everybody's safe. My students were safe. Everybody had a nice, smooth transition. That was many years ago, nearly 30 years ago. So when I came to London, I thought this is my chance now to learn as well, because when you teach, at some point you feel like you need to stop and you need to learn, be the learner again. And I did some further studies at university, did masters and so on, and got into teaching in the UK. I became very quickly a head of department, a mentor for trainee teachers, and then after 3 years, I moved into higher education, where I trained for over 14 years. I trained teachers for primary and secondary, and I taught cultural studies and bilingualism at undergraduate level as well, so postgraduate and undergraduate. And that was my previous life. That was quite a life, 26, 30 years. And it's completely not related to what I'm doing now. What I did is I tried to enable, be a facilitator for my husband, who is a gerontologist specialist in aging, anti-aging, Alzheimer's, internal medicine, as a consultant. But he got very interested in anti-aging process at cellular level and did some extra studies at UCL, and got into solutions for anti-aging, not just for the brain, but also for the whole body, for the skin. and started training and working alongside his hospital career at, doing some injectables and fillers and Botox and anything looking into longevity and regenerative medicine. So I said, let me just create a company for you, because the places he worked for, he just said, I'm going to stop because it's like, I can't work there because it compromises me as a doctor, the way that things are sold and pushed. This is not me, so I'm stopping. And I said, don't throw away the baby with the bathwater. Let me just create a company. You work for me, because he was NHS and I was working at university, so I had different contracts and so on. And I did this just to help him as a hobby, because I could see he was really loving the creativity of this part. And one thing led to another. Before I knew it, it really sucked me in. I opened the first clinic, and then I just started. I was in awe seeing how people were transforming, not from the outside inward. And I was just shocked at what a Botox injection can do for people. So I went into and did a bit of research and looked into biofeedback and how, because I used to use this for my trainees, how to build your confidence, and realized that there is research that shows by having a special expression in your face, you're actually stimulating chemicals to be produced. So by having Botox and relaxing the muscles and making the skin, the face look less tired and less angry and less moody, this actually signaled to release happy hormones. And this is what I was getting from the clients, saying headaches are gone, they feel more relaxed, they're more positive. So I looked more into it, and it just completely sucked me in. So a few years after I left my permanent job at university to really immerse myself in the clinics, you can imagine how my colleagues at university thought I'm crazy. Because it's very rare to have a permanent contract as a lecturer, and saying you're leaving your senior lectureship for Botox. And I said, you don't understand, but it's okay. You don't have to have people understand what you're doing, as long as you know you do it for the right reasons. And I'm never looking back. I thought I was born to be a teacher, and then I realized I can be other things as well, and your skills are transferable. And I'm just constantly learning. Since I went into this new field, I feel really alive. I meet people from all walks of life and developed other areas as well. So went into marketing for our companies. We created a training academy for other doctors, which is, again, my teaching is coming in.
Yes.
We're also renting out, created a hub to give privileges to people to come in and do their sessions with their clients in our premises, because we've got some premium premises in Harley Street and Holborn, and it's a whole building in Holborn. In Harley Street, it's a whole floor. In Essex, it's another 3-story building. And we are allowing people to use our CQC regulated spaces that we obviously monitor in terms of gatekeeping for standards.
How did it feel opening the very first clinic? So going from this educational background to cutting the ribbon on premises, how did that feel?
I just think I was mad because I just thought, because for a while I was doing both things. We really financed the whole thing with our salaries. We were salaried and we used extra money to build it up. But I love interior design, so I did it myself. It was, for me, just, to be honest, I feel like I've been playing for the last 11 years. It's like I'm allowed to play, and I'm being paid for it as well. So I just love the whole process of creating something from nothing. This is, for me, the biggest motivator, to have a vision and to just allow your vision to change as well. So I didn't know we're going to get where we are. It was a hobby. I thought, we're going to do it, we're going to enjoy it, we're going to do it well, it's going to be a model clinic, how it should be. And that really resonated with people. I wouldn't, when we opened, I didn't know if anybody is going to come to us, but yeah.
It's a growing industry though, isn't it? And, but it's also a very competitive industry.
Yeah.
So were awards quite a crucial part of the business development for you?
They were just, I was looking at numbers, looking at research. There are 20,000 aesthetics clinics in the UK.
20,000.
Yes.
Wow.
6,000 of them are in London.
Okay. So it is highly competitive.
So Southeast is really where most of it
Yeah.
is contained, and it's quite dense. And it's 60,000 practitioners.
Wow.
So not everybody has a clinic, some work.
Mm.
So it's quite competitive. The industry is still growing. It's growing by about 11%
Mm.
a year, generally. And it also attracts many people from different walks of life.
Mm.
One of the bad things, or the challenges of our industry, is that it is not regulated.
Isn't it? I didn't know that.
Not regulated enough. So it's quite a paradox. So if you're a doctor and you're with the GMC and you're with the British College of Aesthetic Medicine and CQC, the way we are, you are over regulated about
Right.
everything. But
Okay.
then there is no legislation that does not allow non-medical people to go and inject people's faces. So you saw this lady who passed away, was it last?
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
Very recently.
she was being treated by an pseudo celebrity who you can see, just by looking at them, they have a distorted body image themselves. And she was being she got a treatment which is a surgical treatment.
Mm.
In a non-sterile place by a non-medic, not qualified. Even they were doing liposuction with the apparatus that is actually for people to get to open, to clear the breathways. Can you see?
Yeah.
But still, the media don't realize what they're doing. Their initiative is now, let's make BBL illegal for everyone. So they're asking us to sign a petition for it to be illegal. They're asking doctors again. So they're going back to doctors and wanting to regulate doctors who are already regulated, but they let all the Love Islanders and whoever, bodybuilders, florists, do aesthetics treatments. So for
You say
me,
florist.
yeah, there's people. I mean,
Florist.
we've got somebody who's like bodybuilder, and he's calling. I don't want to say names, but yeah, he's got a clinic.
Wow. That's scary.
Yeah, it is very scary. The public are not aware how scary it is. The politicians, we do lobby a lot, but they don't understand themselves what the problem is. The UK is the only country in the world where this is happening.
So
Um,
let me
so
just
I'm
ask
very
you then.
passionate about
Yeah.
education.
Well,
This
let
is
me
why
ask you then, if
I write.
someone's looking at getting aesthetic treatment, what should they be looking for? What is the benchmark?
So that what if they want to go for, first of all, do your research about what's available, and if you want to go to somebody, you need to check first of all, are they medical?
Right.
How do you know? You ask them. They need to be registered with either the GMC or the nurses registry.
Okay.
You need to check whether they are whether depending on what the treatment is, are they CQC regulated?
Right.
It's very, very rigorous process to
Care
become
quality
registered,
commission, isn't it? Care quality commission.
get inspection. So when we had our inspection, it's like it's worse than an Ofsted inspection in a school. So they come, you leave everything, they check everything. You have to have the policies, you have to have everything. They interview everyone, they go into all the places. So if they're CQC regulated, and also check their qualifications in terms of the treatments themselves. When people read things like, so red flags, if you read things like somebody is offering this treatment and they are insured,
Mm.
They don't have their qualifications, but they are insured. Just because an insurance company allowed them to be insured, they get the insured status if they go on a course, a day course. So you have somebody who studied 10 years, does constantly appraisals, because every year our doctors have to submit their portfolios and get appraised. And on the same level, we have people who are doing the same treatment, having been usually like makeup artists or something, and going on a day course and getting a sheet that says they can inject Botox. They get somebody to subscribe it because they're not allowed to prescribe, sorry. And it's a whole machinery. It is really heartbreaking what's happening. Some I know colleagues who have just left the field because they can't put up with it anymore, and the lobbying from us as a collective is not strong enough to make people understand. And I remember when I was in education, we had the Every Child Matters that happened because children had died. And I'm just thinking, why does this have to happen here as well? But even now, people have died, still it's not happening at the right level. So yeah, sorry, maybe I'm it's a bit.
No, I think it's really interesting because a lot of people listening to the podcast may be people who do have Botox and maybe don't understand the full implications of using a clinic or a person who is not properly qualified to do it.
And there's people who have treatments in somebody's kitchen or their own kitchen, or Botox parties, or in somebody's shed because the shed is a clinic. And then there are people who do go to a clinic and they think, okay, they think, okay, if it is a clinic, it must be, licensed and regulated. No, it's not. You have to really check up the person, look if they're in the registry. They say they're medical, they need to be registered. If they're not registered, why are they not registered? Have they had some misconduct, or do they just fib you? And it's not about the finance. It's, at the end of the day, it's about your own life. People do die because people inject in the wrong places. The face, this area has more vessels, blood vessels, than the rest of the body. It's really, really dense. There's so many things that can be clogged up, and you can get occlusion, which means that the filler goes into the vein, and then you have the skin and the tissue die.
Wow.
So necrosis. Those people who are not medical are not allowed to do the dissolving as well. So the dissolving itself needs to be done by somebody regulated, because you can get an anaphylactic shock if you don't do it properly. So it's all very dangerous things. If they're done properly, they are amazing, but the public are not aware, and it's just heartbreaking. We have our voice, we use it all the time on our social media. I write blogs constantly. We have events where we talk about it. I write articles. Some of the awards that I won, they ask you, they're international as well. They give you opportunity to do an editorial in their magazines. And my editorial is about safety. I'm not trying to sell, because the right people will find us, because I'm doing selling on a different platform. But it's about educating and getting people to look after their own safety, because they're not safeguarded by the government.
So in terms of awards, obviously you've won a few with the Best Business Women Awards, and you've also won some aesthetic awards as well. So is that kind of a conscious decision to go for some industry ones and some business awards, or did you just go, oh, okay, let's do that today?
I think no, it's a conscious decision. I mean, for the industry ones, obviously it's a very good way of us. To begin with, it's for social proof, for people to see that you have an authority in the field. It's very good for clients to see, and it's very good for the morale of our staff. So it's good for our receptionists, the front of house staff, but our injectors as well, and the management of the company. it keeps us on our toes as well, because it keeps you in touch with, it just makes you, think about the next award. What are you going to say? For me, it's a very good exercise to look at my numbers. At where we were, where we are. It's quite positive journey as well.
Yeah.
Writing up an award entry, you've realized how many things you've done and you just take it for granted. Once you start writing about them, you think, yeah, we're doing this, we're doing this, we're doing a community contribution, this is how we've gone up, and so on. So it's good for the industry, but I believe business awards is a different thing. For instance, for aesthetics, we received the award of the best best practice globally, and this is one of the most prestigious ones in aesthetics. And we were up against like huge clinics in the US, in Australia, Asia, Europe, UK. We won UK and global. I just couldn't believe it. We received the award from the ceremony was actually in Australia that year, and it was also COVID, and it was online, and we just thought, is somebody playing a prank on us? It was just unbelievable. Even the presenter said, imagine being the person who has this, the clinic, and you just hear that you have won best global, and I'm listening to this, and then it's my name. I'm like, oh, the aesthetics. Fantastic. So that's really good. But the business one is, for me, important, because you want to be doing a good job in what you are offering in your industry, but then you want to look at how you make the business, first of all, grow, how well you are looking after your clients, your staff, and you make it sustainable at the same time. So there is the growth mindset and where you were, where you've gone, but then what is your next step? What you give back? And that is a very good exercise for gaining a new perspective and opening up your vision. Become panoramic.
So what made you decide to diversify and run a marketing business alongside that? Was that a need that you spotted in the marketplace?
I did start like everybody else, trying to do everything. Then I realized I need experts for everything I'm doing, and I need to invest in marketing. There is only so far you can get with word of mouth. You're doing a good job, you have a good product, you have all the good intentions. Doesn't mean that people will know who you are, apart from you slowly grow. So I invested in marketing on different, like digital marketing and the website and my social media, and I got specialists to do it. But and this is what I advise everybody I'm working with as well. I learned alongside them. So I was always able to see how much work that goes into it, what it means, what are the important parameters, or the variables, and what is a realistic outcome. So I constantly trained in everything. I learned about code and website design and social media and digital marketing and platforms and funnels and automations, and doing PR as well for magazines and papers. And when I felt that some things I can do them maybe a little bit better, because I know exactly what my voice is, what I want to achieve in my industry, I started taking on these things and doing them in-house. So I grew a nice big team in-house doing just the marketing. When we did this so well, I had people saying, oh, who are you with? Who are you doing this with? And I said, I've got, it's this company. I thought, I need to share this. Because when you do marketing, all these platforms cost a lot of money, but you can create access for sub accounts and other companies as well. So this is when I started taking on clients. I never advertised for clients for the marketing. Once we created the company and they came to us, I just took on some clients and it just grew. I've got a waiting list now. I only take on people who are really, who want to grow and who understand what the investments will bring in realistic terms. And this know-how, it's a shame to keep it to yourself. I always believe you need to share. Because other clinics, sorry, do a better job, it raises the perception in the public of the whole industry. We all go up together.
Exactly. That's a great view to have, actually. And this is what I've been striving to bring up the awards industry a little bit. I'm still fighting a losing battle, which is why I mentioned at the final about giving people generic certificates or not recognizing your finalists and actually, you know, making it into a celebration for everyone. A lot of awards still feel like a little bit like a sort of production line of just get the winner up on stage, one photo off the stage, next winner up. And I wanted to create something that felt like a true celebration of female achievement. So I think I admire you for trying to bring the standards up in the industry, because when we rise with others and we help that improve. And you really have positioned yourself as a bit of an expert in this industry now, haven't you?
I think, so, yeah, I'm on that journey. And it's because people have come to me and asked to have what we do. And as I told you earlier, I'm now business coach for one of the our suppliers, working with hundreds of. I just did a webinar for 95 clinics just Tuesday on how to use marketing and grow, and I'm doing workshops for them. And for me, and this was the same when I was doing it when I was in education, sharing our resources. People said, "Oh, they're using your resources," and I said, "Yeah, good. Let them use our resources. We created them, but where this came from, there is more to come. You need to let flow. The knowledge needs to go, so you get new."
Definitely.
The knowledge, I mean, in a postmodern sense of understanding, knowledge is already there. We just tap into it. We're like radios, you know. We tune in and we get the knowledge, we get the understanding. As we grow, if we share this and let other people grow with us, we're creating that we can become gatekeepers, even with safety. If we all are aware of our role and we get rid of the fear of holding things for ourselves, you can't grow like this. You only grow.
No.
Look at the trees. They open up their branches. This is how they grow. And this is how we need to do that as well. Sorry, I'm not sound a bit cheesy there. But yeah, this is my belief. You only by giving, you receive. By by teaching, you learn. By sharing, you get from others back as well.
Which is amazing. It's a good philosophy to have. So we always like to sort of end the podcast with some business nuggets, and you've already shared quite a few things. But if you were to turn the clock back 11 years, what would you be advising yourself all those years ago? What's the learnings that you've had over the years you've had for aesthetics?
So if I went back to my younger self 11 years ago, first of all, I would say make sure you invest in your marketing, and that needs to go with a growth business mindset. Get support from specialists, and create a community. And that community is a community with your customers, but also don't neglect the community with your peers, and get people who know more about things you're doing. And this is the only way you can grow, by surrounding yourself with people who are what you aspire to become. And this is one of the things I find really great about your events, is about hearing the stories and talking. I've never, in your gala, there is no competition. There's no negativity. Everybody feels positive and empowered and happy with each other. And I'm not just saying this. I really feel it when I was there, and I was cynical at the beginning because I've been to many other places where you go and then you come back feeling, yeah, you know, it's just, you can see through. Other things that I would say is make sure you invest in your staff. I mean, as you're growing, we are investors in People Gold, accredited company, which is quite a very low percentage of companies have that. Our first registration, we received it, and we didn't do it for the registration, but the registration made us see our processes. So investing in people is really, really huge, not just investing in your customers, investing in your staff, helping them grow, and making sure communication is open, bottom up and top down. Making time for people is really important. It's very easy for business to just take you away and you forget, and you just remember like, oh, where has this year gone? Have scheduled meeting with people in your team, and also create, always remind yourself why you do what you do. So I do this. I have sometimes I have like a day where I'm not accessible to anybody. It's my thinking day, and I just like allow myself to let everything sink in and reevaluate where I am, where I'm going, why I'm doing it. And my question is always, I might be mad, but this is my question about knowing whether I'm doing the right thing. I always say, now, if I won the lottery today, would I go to work tomorrow? What would I change? And I do this with my colleagues as well. And I would not change anything. I would just continue what I'm doing because I would do it for free. This is my, you know, sign that I'm in the right place, that I'm enjoying what I'm doing and I'm being creative.
Well, that's an incredible sentence to end in, really, to end the podcast. That you would do what you're doing for free. You're that passionate about it. And
yeah, I would. Yeah.
But the moment I met you, your passion came across, and I'm absolutely inspired by you. I think you're an incredible entrepreneur, and you're an incredible woman because you are all about support for others as well as for yourself. And that's a true best businesswoman.
Oh, thank you for your kind words. And you're my inspiration, Debbie. And I really, really mean it. Please continue what you're doing. We all love you for what you're doing.
Oh, that's lovely to hear. Thank you
And
very
wish
much.
you all the best for your.
Thank you. I know.
Yeah. I will be watching.
I know, and we probably, by the time this podcast gets aired, we will know what the result was at the Stevie Awards. So yeah, off to New York very soon to collect my Stevie. I just don't know whether it's going to be a bronze, silver, or gold.
Well, you're a winner already, so
yeah. And I mean, for
talent.
me, we're going to
Just
do an
talent.
episode on the Stevies. And I said to you before we started recording the podcast, you must enter for next year. You must do it.
I think, yeah, yeah.
Should be on your radar.
Commitment. You're gonna help me with that.
I will.
Okay.
I will definitely
Lovely.
give you some tips.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on the podcast.
Thank you. Now, if you've been listening to the podcast today, we are going to add Vicky's details into the show notes so you can have a look at her clinics and where they're located and more information about the services that she offers. Or you might be an aesthetic clinic listening to this podcast thinking, I could do with some help potentially with my marketing, although Vicky has said there's a waiting list. So still worth getting in contact with her and listening to her journey and her story and reading more about her. So hopefully that's inspired you if you are already in aesthetics. So thank you for joining me today, Vicky, and I wish you continued success with your business.
You too. Thank you very much. Bye.